So we got Wardlow versus CM Punk. So Wardlow had the new gear. CM Punk looked like he was in for the fight of his life. Wardlow basically dominated this man.
Hold on, you gonna stop this? We done seen this man in UFC. You can't say this. You cannot say he's in for the fight of his life. We've seen him get whooped in UFC. Stop. You stop it. Were you trying to get that joke off or no?
I was not.
Okay,
I was not.
My bad.
It was in earnest. So,
okay, my bad.
But yeah. So Wardlow begins dismantling CM Punk. This is classic CM Punk versus Big Man match. Nothing that you haven't ever seen in, him wrestling Mark Henry or Big Show or Hobbs or now Wardlow.
It was a lot
all
better
the same
when it was Ryback.
Ryback. I forgot about him. But they Wardlow ended up putting Punk through a table at one point, and he gave Punk like seven of the safest power bombs you've ever seen in your life. Just like, let me just set you down gently, Mr. Punk. Here you go, Mr. Punk. Let me put you down and make sure you're able to get back up.
He didn't want to end up getting the rap that Ryback caught during the podcast.
Yeah.
He didn't want none of that. Like,
I feel like a conversation was had.
Yeah, you put me down lightly, or we just not gonna do the match.
This will be your last match,
right?
What?
But yeah,
But then, like, they do the angle, like, where instead of them wanting to finish or Wardlow to finish him early, they wanted Wardlow to keep fucking around. Wardlow essentially had him beat, foot on the chest. He wasn't going to kick out. It was going to be a wrap. And MJF told him chill. And then, like, the whole angle is like, what the fuck? And then he sets up I see the Bret Hart and Diesel thing coming from, like, a mile away.
Same.
Like, I put it on the timeline and in the group chats as it was happening. And it was like, oh, he's about to, like, since CM Punk's whole thing is he wants to cosplay as Bret Hart. And then I had to see people, like, cutting up both clips while Bret Hart looks so much more athletic and, like, smooth. And then,
also it's a way better match, even though I hate that match, or not hate it, but don't like it at all. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, all right. I didn't have a problem. Like, I think there was a little bit of hyperbole saying, like, this, like, hurt CM Punk or anything like that. It was like, this is just the angle they wanted to do. But,
it didn't hurt
like,
CM Punk.
Yeah, like, I don't care that he like got up after 7 power bombs. Did you see the power bombs? Like, them shits don't even look like they hurt. Like, yeah, this is a pot. Like, this is like my main point of, like, contention with the analysis I was saying. They just point blank just threw 7 power bombs. I'm like, them shits was weak. So,
I mean, okay, so I get where people are coming from, because they for months, or for like a couple months, they've been putting over, like, these power bombs. He hits you with a row of these. It's a wrap for you against jobbers. The thing for me was they were having a somewhat competitive back and forth match where, obviously CM Punk is just overwhelmed by the power, but he's making comebacks. And the match they were having at the beginning was good. And then by the time you got to the first power bomb, I was like, okay. And then he kept powerbombing, and I was like, I know he's not going to win. Get to it already. And then he keeps powerbombing him. I'm like, these powerbombs don't look good, like you mentioned. And then MJF is like, take his ass outside. And then he powerbombs to the table, and then I'm like, he's going to beat this 10 count. That's fucking stupid. Whatever. Then he gets back in, and I was like, all right, do your Bret Hart thing. Keep in mind, like, I didn't watch this show live. I watched it on tape, not tape later. I had a copy of it, and I watched it later. But, like, I had stayed on spoilers. I had no idea you were even talking about the Bret Hart thing. But, like, that's the first thing I thought was, like, so you've been doing the Bret Hart stuff. Like, this is 95 Survivor Series. And sure enough, he hits him with the small package. And, like, the small package wasn't even fucking good looking. Like, Wardlow took forever to get actually his shoulders on the mat. It's like, God damn it. Pin him, whatever. And I'm like, this...
It's funny because
hold on, you're going to win, but we need you to make him look strong. Yeah. That's my first thought. I was like, when is CM Punk pie somewhere where he's like, you're going over, but we need you to make him look strong, because
it wouldn't have been the right move, right? But like,
Don't do the match.
I would have really popped if Wardlow would have just won. Like, I would have been like,
nah.
Obviously, I would have been like, what the fuck is happening?
Okay,
but like,
okay.
I would have like popped in the moment, just like I didn't expect that. And then it's like, well, who's the real strong motherfucker? Like, but like, you know, I think that would have opened up a whole can of worms had they did that. But I was ready for him to just win. Like, he beat the man thoroughly.
I think in a situation like that, you just gotta like not do the match.
Yeah,
like have him fight especially because like all this stuff that's going on with Wardlow, like clearly he's getting pissed off with his lot in life with the Pinnacle. Like you could have made it to where like they could have made a thing where like he walked on him like a week before the match and then like it's off, so he has to put in like balder hair from FTR instead, and then you continue on with that, and then like you get back around to it later or whatever else, and then go from there. Like, I just wouldn't have done it. I mean, because Punk got his ass completely whooped. He had a visual pin on Punk. Like, the only thing saved him was the fact that MJF is a fucking moron that, like, because he's a heel, he gets away with it because heel's supposed to be idiots. They get their plans, like, thwarted. But, like, his plan was, I'm going to have CM Punk get softened up. So I'm going to have him in there with Wardlow. But I'm going to have Wardlow destroy him. But I also don't know how for the match to end. Because I don't want him to actually beat him. Because I want to be the first person to beat him. When it's like, well, then how is the match going to end? Then why do you even put him into the match, MJF? Right. So it was just like whatever, man. What do you give that match star rating wise?
I didn't rate this shit.
I gave that shit 2.5. Moved on.
Yeah, that's like that wouldn't even make like like I don't. It's funny because like the only matches I don't rate every match, but like the only matches I would rate are like way better than this.
Right. I'm in this thing now where this year, like I'm going to rate every match I watch, and like it is. Got to tell you, I'm
2.5,
like 70
3/4.
Yeah. I'm at like I had like 70 something matches already, and I'm like, fuck. It is draining to actually like go through your like your mental Rolodex and be like, this is more in line with like these matches over here. Put it there with the rest of them.